Hi guys, what's happening? It's Human Reptile here today, and today I've got another mock to show off, and it is the first realistic or sort of one-to-one scaled model that I've kind of shown off on my channel. And if you're not aware, mock stands for my own creation. It's anything that you've built without using instructions or sort of without a real sort of plan to it, I guess. But I've used a few images that I'll show up on screen now. It is the DL-18 blaster pistol from Star Wars Battlefront and from Star Wars, the actual movies themselves. It appeared in the Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Luke Skywalker used it really briefly. The scene that lasted only a couple seconds, where Luke used the Force to grab one of Jabba the Hutt's guards' pistols, and he tried to shoot Jabba the Hutt with it, but ended up falling into the Rancor pit. Like I said, the inspiration or why I've wanted to build it is mainly because of it appears in the game Battlefront, as I've said, Star Wars Battlefront, which I absolutely love. I actually I've made quite a few videos based on the game on my secondary channel, which I linked to in another video. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to go check that out as well. Again, yeah, just a secondary channel that I dedicate gaming mainly towards. So yeah, really happy with how this turned out. I have spent a few days making it. It's quite an obscure sort of thing to make. Especially seeing as it's in life size, you know, I can actually hold it quite comfortably. It's very strong, you know. It's not, I can wobble it and shake it as much as I want, and it won't break at all. If I dropped it, it could break. But yeah, the trigger doesn't actually work. It doesn't actually do anything. But I wanted to sacrifice an actual function for this weapon for the actual look of it. And this guard around the trigger, which I guess I'll start with, this was actually the hardest bit for me to make. As you can see, it does actually unfold, but it's meant to be kept like this. It's clipped onto this bar here, which is underneath this angled piece here. I did actually have two other attempts of making the trigger guard here, as you can see. I just thought they looked really big and bulky. So the handle on the gun, I think worked out really well. So as you can see, the back end of the handle curves outwards, as you can see, and then as it reaches this point, starts to curve back inwards, which I think looks really sleek, and that's been pulled off thanks to these two pieces, well, three pieces actually, if the camera will focus. These three pieces, you've got two sloped pieces here, and that's been pulled off by one of these pieces here. From the side anyway, it's pulled off a really nice sleek look that copies the look of the actual blaster itself and makes it really comfortable to hold, especially with this arched platform as I showed you before. Makes it really comfortable in the palm of your hand. The gun looks like it's angling a bit on this point here. To add to that, we've got an upside down, because this whole connection point is on the bottom of 4 studs, as I can show you here. It's all built sort of backwards, if you get what I mean. It's all been built on the bottom of those 4 studs there. If I can fix this back on. There we go. Yeah, so this upside down arch brick, as I was saying, links to these just 2 straight bricks to help sort of imply there's a curve there, and then finishes off with that angle bit that I showed you before. Then this piece, or these two tan pieces here, again representing the brown part of the gun outside, as I'll probably show a picture somewhere up here of, is connected onto the side of the gun with these two Technic pins. It's just an ordinary, build there that's just connected onto the side of the handle. And if I show you in the light there, you can see a bit better how this part of the gun, the angled part, it was connected onto it. And then we've got two angled pieces again here, which just help this to slope down. This brick here is helped to slope down by this angled piece. Because if you imagine if that was just a normal brick, it would kind of bash in the way of that bar there. If you can understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, it just all links in really nicely, basically. So yeah, if that will focus. And the whole thing's the exact same on the other side. It's all built up the same, as you can see there. The main bulk of the blaster's all built up quite unusually. I've never really done anything like it before. These two decorations are just, like I said, just for decoration. That's just how the gun looks from the side. It's just got these two bolts, I guess they would be, that just pin onto the side of the gun. These pieces are sort of sideways, so they're connected in a bit of a weird way. But yeah, I forgot to show you this under part of the gun. I'll show you that in a minute. But just so you can see, both sides of the, the main bulk of the blaster are identical, except for the, sort of decorations are a bit different on either side. I haven't got that big bolt, for example, on this side. So yeah, just so you can see, the blaster's put together quite strangely, but it's very strong, and I think it turned out to look very nice indeed. So I can take off this piece for you now. There we go. So as you can see, there's actually 4 points where this side panel connects. Hopefully that's all still in focus. So I'll take off the top piece of the gun here. Again, I'll go into more detail in that in a minute. There's a 4x4 piece on top that has this tile connected to it. I can just pull off like that, which is only connected by these two studs here. This piece, as you can see, is just going to slide out, just like that, because this piece has actually got two holes in that you can see straight down there, which slide along a Technic pin in the middle of the gun that just sort of holds this whole thing together, as you can see. Then we have this piece that I was going to show you before. It's a piece that sort of curves up, that I can take off for you very easily. It's just, as I said, just a curved piece just to add to the design of the gun. And yeah, this piece, as I said, just slides right on really easily. Again, the right hand side of the gun is pretty much exactly the same, Okay, so I managed to put this whole thing back together after sort of tearing it apart a bit. We have some cheese slopes going up either side of this piece as well, just to carry on this sort of curved pathway that the blaster takes along here as best as I could. We then have a flat tile here, just to make this part of the blaster more sort of square shaped, just because again that's the way the blaster is. I'll be able to let you compare this whole thing with a picture of the blaster soon. This front end piece, again, I think this is it's one of those ball joint pieces that has been connected. I just realised I have forgot to put a pin in this part, because I said to myself, oh, I'll just kind of, I'll show you what I mean a bit closer, but basically this Technic rod here has 4 sort of grooves that fit perfectly in between these 4 studs here on this piece. So I said to myself, before I actually put a pin in here, because I could do that to strengthen it, I'll just sort of squeeze that piece in there just to sort of see how it looked. And I actually, this piece came off. I actually forgot to put a pin in there, but oh well, it doesn't really matter for now. All that pin would have done is strengthen it anyway. But yeah, as I was saying, this whole piece at the front is all links together really nicely, and I think this is one of my favourite parts of the whole gun, to be honest. We have a red piece right at the front of this construction, and that has a dish at the end, which acts as a sort of the actual gun, I guess, just the piece at the end that fires the laser. So yeah, that hole, as I was talking about before, just connects into this rod really easily, and then that red piece fits on the front. And that red piece is there because I found a picture online, again, which I'll show you here, that has a red flashing piece on the front of the gun, and I thought if I added that in, it would, you know, look kind of nice and be kind of accurate to that photo. I think this all the proportions came together really nicely. Again, I think it's really strong, sturdy, a great structure, you know. One of my favourite models that I've ever made, let alone models that are, you know, realistic scale. And if I hold it out over here so you can see better, my hand fits really nicely onto it. So, you know, people with bigger hands will be, you know, there's still a lot of room left. So, you know, anyone with a bigger hand will probably be able to hold this quite nicely. But yeah, again, I think the model's really well designed. I have just realised I forgot to show you the part on top up close. It just links on with a bracket onto the top, and this is what it looks like up close. So we've got a flat circular tile on the back, just to help it look a bit smoother and more realistic. And this cone is attached to a dish on the front, which is just there because that's what the actual gun sort of looks like at the front. You've got that sort of dish piece with the cone on front. Again, I'm going to compare this all with a picture, maybe to the side of the screen. So yeah, like I said, that just fits really nicely. I'll just give you a look at different angles of the blaster now. So thanks for watching my review of my custom made realistic 1:1 scale DL18 blaster from Star Wars. I've been the Reptile Man, and I'm signing out. See ya.
Darling, darling, I'll turn the lights back on now. Watching, watching, as the credits all roll down, and crying, crying. You know we're playing to a full house. No heroes feeling